Hello friends, welcome to another episode of Life Class. I'm Pastor Temi Odejide, the resident pastor of House on the Rock, London. I'm excited that you are with me tonight. I want to encourage you to stay tuned, like the feed, share the feed. Come on, go tell all your friends now to come and join us. They're about to hear some truth that's going to blow their minds and bless their lives. This month of February, we've been dealing with the subject of relational intelligence, how to win in your relationships. I'm so excited about last week. We had a great time dealing on the subject of know yourself, because we found out that for relational intelligence, it doesn't start with how to know others. It starts with you knowing yourself, self-awareness, great and accurate insight into yourself. It was a phenomenal class. If you missed it, make sure you go back and listen to it once again. It will bless you. A lot of us have heard about IQ, EQ, but few people know about RQ. That's a relationship or relational intelligence. So you really want to be in these classes. They're going to bless you loads. Today is I think today is the 12th of February. So in a few days time, it's going to be the 14th of February, Valentine's Day. So a lot of you are looking forward to Valentine's Day. Interesting enough, it's not in the Bible, but it's okay to celebrate love anyway. We celebrate love all the time. I told my wife when I was about to marry her, when we were dating, I said, I don't believe in Valentine's Day. I don't do Valentine. But she will tell you that every year, even though I don't do Valentine, I still find something to celebrate my love with her. I don't know what I'm going to do this year. Maybe I'll just tell her I love her in the morning. What do you think? Anyway, let's get back in tune and talk about our subject for today. In the book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 3, it says, "Can two walk together unless they be agreed?" We've already understood how important it is for us to come together. We can achieve much more when we learn how to relate together, how to work together. This scripture says, "Can two work together unless they be agreed?" The challenge with us coming together and being able to agree is that we are so different. Particularly when we're talking about men and women. We have so many differences. We struggle to be able to work together. So the question should arise, why are we so different? Why are we so different? Why can't you be a bit more like me? You know, there's sometimes I'm having conversations with my wife and I'm like, why can't you just think like I think? And I'm quite sure she's thinking at the same time, why can't you think the way I am thinking? Why are we so different? We've got to learn how to celebrate our differences instead of seeing them as objects of contention. But we still have the question why we're so different. And I'm going to suggest some answers as to why we're different by going back to the book of beginnings. I'm talking about the book of Genesis and looking at the creation of man. Now, God created man to have dominion. Male and female created he, them. So the dominion mandate was not just for the male man, but also for the female man. Both of us were created for dominion. However, the male man was created first, and the male man, Adam, when he was created, the first thing that he was introduced to was an assignment. He was introduced to work before he was introduced to woman. While when woman was brought out of man and created, the first thing that she was introduced to was man. So the first thing that a woman was introduced to was relationship. Now, this might seem simple, but this simple beginning molds the fundamental difference between a man and a woman. A man is typically, primarily, motivated by what he does, by his work, while a woman is motivated primarily by relationship, by her relationships with others. This impacts the very basic love languages of men and women. A man typically wants to love by providing, by doing something. You know, some of you that are in relationships, you know how it is that your man struggles to say, I love you, but wants to do stuff that says, I love you. And I do that too sometimes, where instead of saying I love you, I look for something to do. And typically I want to provide something. In fact, sometimes when my wife would say, I don't feel like you love me, I typically am feeling like, what do you mean you don't feel like I love you? I've paid the school fees, I'm paying the rent, I'm doing that. All of that should tell you that I love you. My love language is coming out of what I do, out of my work, while she's talking more relational, that it's not about your provision, it's also about what you say to me. A woman defines herself and draws a great sense of value out of her relationships. A man defines himself and draws his sense of value out of what he does, out of his work. This is something that's very important for you to understand. You can understand, therefore, that when a man is not able to do what he does or is not able to work, something seriously is out of keter in his life. He struggles, and sometimes if a woman doesn't understand that, she wonders that what's wrong with him. And sometimes a woman wants to stop working and just focus on me. No, part of what makes him what he is the work that he does. Yeah. Now let's delve deeper and start looking at some of the differences. Obviously, there are multiple differences between men and women that we can learn from. And I think these differences are very important for you to be able to manage your relationships with the opposite gender a whole lot better. So I'm going to run through 9 differences very quickly that I trust will be illuminating to you. Number 1, she wears her heart on her sleeves while he tucks it all away. She wears her heart on her sleeves while he tucks his heart away. Men are often accused of not being able to connect emotionally with others. They're accused that, oh, he doesn't connect emotionally. He doesn't connect on the emotional level. And the reason that we men often struggle with being able to connect emotionally is because we keep our emotions deep down. Culturally, societally, that's how men are taught to be. Don't be emotional. So we've over time and years learned how to hide our emotions. It does not mean that a man is emotionless. It just means that he keeps his emotions often caged. A man typically keeps his emotions hidden, while women are a whole lot more expressive emotionally than a man would be. They are ready to express their emotions. Now, note a lot of these that I'm saying, they are generalizations, because there will always be exceptions to these rules. There are some women that are more tended to behave like a man, and some men that are more tended to behave what is typically considered to be a woman. So, but let's just understand that this is speaking generally, okay? So men, it's not that men don't have emotions, it's just that they keep their emotions well hidden. So this is a very important difference between men and women, where a woman will be more expressive emotionally, while a man tends to keep his emotions hidden within. Another interesting difference between a man and a woman is that a woman fights while a man takes flight. I think a lot of people should be able to understand what this one means. A woman tends to want to rehash what went wrong and who did what and when it happened and how it happened. You said this and I said that. She wants to go through this whole story of everything that happened that upset her. Meanwhile, a man is very different. A man just wants to have a short outburst and end of discussion. Doesn't want this drawn out conversation on, you know. And that's why men often, including myself, always get a bit jittery when the missus says, we need to talk. Oh God. You immediately start thinking that, okay, what have I done now? And you start thinking about what happened yesterday. Or is it that? Is it this? Is that? It's so, women out there, reduce this whole we need to talk thing. Just talk. We get so agitated once we hear we need to talk thing. These are the differences between men and women. Number 3 difference. Typically, a woman has more friends than a man does. Well, again, like I said, these are generalizations. There are always going to be exceptions to the rule. A woman tends to have this girl, that girl, and all of that, while men tend to have fewer male friends in their lives. And the type of relationships that men have with their guy friends are significantly different from the relationships that women have with their girlfriends. Women with their girlfriends tend to get deep, tend to get emotional, tend to make a lot of, they confide in one another, while men with their guy friends are talking about football, talking about news, talking about politics, talking about what's happening at work. They're not all talking about deep emotional stuff. Does it mean that men don't have emotions? No, it's just the dynamics of how a man relates in his relationship. Men want to, we are always competing with one another. So are your biceps bigger than mine? Kind of thing. Kind of thing, yeah? Number 4, she multitasks while he is laser focused. This is an important difference for us to understand. Many studies have revealed that women are typically better multitaskers than men are. In fact, one study said that women perform 70% better than men at juggling more than one task at a time. This is a very important difference. Otherwise, sometimes you get frustrated with your man because you're feeling like, oh, he's multitasking. He doesn't multitask. He doesn't know how to do many things at one time. Sometimes it's not because anything is wrong with him. It's just the reality that women are better multitaskers than men are. Yeah, a woman somehow learns over time how to do many things at a go. So women, when he says he does not want to be interrupted, he's not being rude. It's simply how he operates best. For him to really achieve a lot of the time, he just has to be focused on that one thing. While a woman, she's taking care of the house. I don't even know how my wife does it. Take care of the house, take care of the children, take care of me, work a job, plan this, plan that, just juggling multiple balls. Me, I have one thing to do: go to work, make the money, come home, and be taken care of. Hallelujah. Amen. I hope that makes some sense. Difference number 5. Women seem to regret more than men regret. Now, I'm going to be careful about this to say that it is not that men don't regret and don't regret as deeply as a woman would regret if something has gone wrong or if you've done something wrong or the like. It's just that typically it seems that men are able to move on from their regrets faster than a woman would. If a woman really feels something has gone wrong, she's done something wrong, a woman typically will still carry that for a while a man seems to be able to more easily just shake it off. So, I messed up. Life goes on, picks up, dusts itself off, and keeps on moving. It's important to understand, especially when you're relating with that opposite sex and she's feeling bad about something that went wrong. You've got to be able to allow her the process of getting over it rather than just saying, come on, what's wrong with you? It's done, forget it, let's move on with life. That's typically more what a man would be able to do. Another study showed that men tend to regret things that they hadn't done, while women regret things that they have done. So a man seems to have more regret over omissions, things that he should have done, that he hasn't done, while women seem to have more regret over things that they've done, but they've done it wrong, or they've done what they're not supposed to do. That's what triggers their regret. Important nuance difference that we need to know about men and women. Number 6 difference. Men tend to be more logical, where women tend to be more intuitive. Now, it is not that women are illogical. It's just that they tend to be more intuitive than logical. A man needs a reason to believe one thing or the other, while a woman can go simply on the strength of her intuition, simply on the strength of her intuitiveness. You know, early in my marriage, we would have situations where my wife would meet somebody, and by intuition she'll say, I'm not feeling that person. I don't think he's good or whatever. And I'm like, why? And she said, I don't know. I just don't feel it. And I'm like, well, until you can give me a legitimate reason and premise for not liking this person, I'm sorry. The guy is my guy, man. He's my guy. From experience, somewhere down the road, her intuition tends to come to pass. And she doesn't have to tell me, I told you so. I just look at her and say, oh, she told me so. So a good man married to a good woman learn to listen to her intuition. It's not always right, but a whole lot of the time it is. Okay. Number 7, she's more expressive than a man. Women tend to be more expressive than men. I've said that before. I like the word expression and not talkative, because I think talkative is a little bit negative. A woman is more expressive. She wants to say more. She wants to tell you the whole story. When you ask your wife how was your day, she's going to start telling you her day from when she stepped out of the house and the color of the sky, and there was this monkey and this lizard and all of that. She wants to tell you the whole of the day. When you ask a man how was your day, fine. It's as simple as that, you know. So some husbands have wisened up and they stopped asking how was your day, just to avoid a long conversation. Yeah. He sees things differently from the way a woman sees things. Men see things differently from the way women see things. And that's obvious. Yeah. That's very, very obvious. We look at things and we come to other conclusions than a woman. She's looking at details. He's looking at the summary of it. And this also applies to the number 9. He hears things differently from her. A man hears things differently from the way a woman would hear things. A man is a headliner and is a summary person, so he's looking for what's the core thing here. While a woman is hearing all of the nuances, hearing what is not being said, reading in between the lines. You got all of that from that? You know, we hear differently. Okay, so I could go on with so many other differences between men and women, but time forbids me to do so. But this is one thing that I do want us to go home with today. The key thing is to not see our differences as a problem, but to rather see them as solution to our weaknesses. Because in Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9 to 12, it tells us that 2 are better than 1. The truth is, he is strong where I'm weak to complement for my weaknesses. I am strong where she is weak to help her out with her weaknesses. So we need each other rather than being frustrated with how she's different from me. I need to celebrate her difference because it helps me to be so much better. And can I tell you something? You can't even have fruitfulness without difference. 2 of the same cannot be fruitful. It has to be 2 different parts that come together to produce fruitfulness. So stop trying to make him or her like you. No, you won't be fruitful that way. You must rather celebrate your difference and use your differences for increased strength. Yes. So that's the life class for today. I hope that you've been blessed. I'm quite sure that there's a lot of information that you hopefully have garnered from the class and that you will apply in your life, and your relational intelligence will go to another level. I want to invite you into next week. Wednesday is going to be great as we start to talk about defining, differentiating, and developing your relationship. You simply do not want to miss it. Please share this information with your friends, with your contacts, so that they'll know to also join us next week, Wednesday. God bless you. Celebrate your differences. Don't make them points of contention. See you next week.